There we go. This is better, I think. I think this works. Make sure you share it live once again. So we in landscape mode because Facebook wants to be stupid. And that's fine. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Man, oh man. Shit's crazy, dog. Oh my goodness. Make sure you share. Make sure you share it live. So this is part 2. This is part 2. Yeah. Share, man. This shit crazy. Always some shit, man. It's all Gucci. It's cool. I'm gonna get you one in a second. Alright. It should work now, bro. It should work now. There's no reason it shouldn't, to be completely honest with you. There's really no legitimate reason on why it shouldn't work. You know what I'm saying? So, we gonna figure this shit out. I don't know what's good, what they trying to do, but dog. Yeah. You can try your phone again. And if that don't work, I'm just gonna go to StreamYard because that seems to be what's working now. It seems to be what's working. StreamYard works. And StreamYard does what it does. I invite you. Invite. There you go. Can I get a sign? Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. Come on now. Get your shit together, Facebook. Stop fucking around.
And I was looking at the bottom on my laptop. All I saw was like those emoji stickers. I was looking in settings. I didn't see shit where it said I could request. Kind of like here when I go into the chat, I just hit a button. You know what I'm saying? I don't see a lot of shit I was seeing says, oh yeah, you can't add people that are on laptops and shit.
You know what it is? What? It's because you have to put the phone in landscape mode. They don't let you do it regular, like horizontal.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Cause I got my phone on my tripod, so it's kind of like this.
Yeah, they tried some bullshit once again. Is what it is. But yeah. But this is part 2 of the universe be decode because we just been continuing to dig, apparently.
Exactly. You finding shit.
Shit is real. This shit is real,
100%.
man. But
So
we left off with the whole Lil Wayne and Eminem side B, Universal trying to spiritually attack Lil Wayne for the masters, and because they want to get into that gateway to Universe B. So Lil Wayne releases side B of No Ceilings 3. No ceilings, no limit to what's possible. That's a portal, no ceilings. And then you have Eminem's music to be murdered by. So you're killing off, you know, the shit. That's side B, Old Universe B. He apologizes to Rihanna, the great mother, representation, right? He disses Anubis, who is Snoop Dogg, because he's mad he won't let him in the gates, which is the top 10. And then, what else? What else did we cover after that?
I think it's kind of like where we left off, and we ventured into other topics as well.
Yeah, we ventured into other shit in relation to this.
Yeah.
But now
we got some more shit.
We then found some more shit. He's put me on to more shit because now this is all tying. This shit is all tying back to Debo now.
Yeah, a West Coast legend, as you put it.
West Coast legend Debo. Now there's two Debos, and we know the real Debo, like the real person, died 2 weeks before the character who played him. The person who played the character in Friday died, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know about that shit.
Yeah.
And we know that character who played what's his real name? I forget his real name. Tiny something, right?
Yeah, Tiny Lister Jr.
Tiny Lister, right? And we know that Tiny used to wrestle originally. Was known as Zeus on WWF, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And who made a song called Zeus after he died? Eminem. Right.
And what is the story about Zeus and his children? They're the ones who took over and overthrew the Titans and took over the throne. You know, they fucking kicked them off the throne, and now the Titans are coming back to sit back on the throne. They're kicking these motherfuckers off, and they're killing them. Right. So by Zeus ritualistically dying, and Eminem making a song called Zeus after he dies to keep that frequency and to apologize, and Universal taking the masters, they're trying to weasel their way into a place. Even if they got in, they wouldn't be able to last. Right. So I wonder, they must have something more sinister at play. Because if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. They know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
so you know they got Zeus, so we know that he's representing the Titan. We know that he is similar and looks similar to Thanos in the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
He looks, and how many memes did they have of Thanos being Debo? A lot. There was a lot of Debo Thanos correlations, correct? Why? Because that's the Titan. That's the Titan. So Eminem made Zeus, and in that song, what is he saying in the hook? He's saying I'm a rap god and all that shit. Still's repeating that same shit.
No, in the hook he's yeah, he was.
Yeah. Matter of fact, let me get to that hook because I could Google that shit. That ain't nothing.
And plus, in the first 10 seconds of the song, he also mentions Takashi, and Takashi means warrior. So Warrior 69.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what do you say? He says she thinks that I'm trash, but she listens to Takashi or something like that. Like, bitch, you lost me.
Right.
He'll do some lyrical shit, make it sound however, but it's like something like that.
Right.
It's catchy though. It's like catchy. I ain't gonna lie. It's catchy, but we already know what Buddy is on.
Yeah, what did he say? He says, I'll be on my own, head up in the clouds like Zeus. When they say you ain't the GOAT, I come down like who? And then he's like, "But I got my head." And the cloud's like, "Zeus, swear I can see the game from a bird's eye view." Now that would be astral projection in that specific theory. They said, "Bitch,
Crazy.
and then he says, "Bitch, you talking to a rap god, girl, you talking to
Yep.
a monster." Yeah. So that's subliminal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So pretty much he's trying to claim, that he's still that guy and give advice to these other artists. Like he's a gatekeeper of some sort.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's really not. Honestly, he's not. But either way, we know
he's
the
like
reference.
a gatekeeper for the phenomelanated types.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it like this: without Eminem, you wouldn't see no Logic, you wouldn't see no MGK. That whole him and MGK beef that was planned, that was a whole fucking ritual. Two pedophiles going at it. Like a lot of these other white rappers, and then before Eminem, there was a mini ritual that happened to get the next white rapper in there to that could be like Eminem, and it turned out to be him. And that was before him was the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys and Vanilla Ice. Both of them.
So they're animal. So they're the lower. So then they try to put Eminem at the top as the god.
Mm-hmm.
You see how they do shit?
Yep.
Thinking niggas won't pick this shit apart.
Oh yeah.
Shit a game. Like that's straight up like, because a lot of people don't think like that, but now that you see it, it's like every other white rapper, they don't get as much shine as Eminem, and they're always gonna be compared to him. And if they don't reach his status, even though he had Jimmy Iovine and all the motherfuckers behind him and Dr. Dre producing almost every single album, what they did was they put the mind control, so they put his music on the radio constantly. So the rituals of radio is subconscious programming.
Mm-hmm.
So that you'll be singing a song you don't like, but you listen to it because you heard it on the radio so many times, and then that might get somebody to buy their album like that just for that one song back in the day. That's how Eminem sold so many albums.
All you gotta do is put them same 13 songs in rotation every single day.
Exactly.
And who's listening to these things the most? Of the people that work in retail. People who work in settings where that's getting played.
Children.
And children, of course. People who at the
I remember,
in general, people who go to the mall. Period.
Exactly.
Mm.
And on their way to work.
Traffic. Bumper to bumper. What you doing?
Radio.
And if you ain't got the radio, and you on social media, which is technically still the radio, because regardless, you're gonna click on the video, you're gonna hear a certain song that's on the radio, regardless. So you're not just escaping it just because you're not listening to it.
100%. And with Spotify and shit now and all that type of shit.
Look, you're gonna go to parties, you're gonna go out, you're gonna hear it. Period.
How do you think Cardi B got hot? You know what I'm saying? All these other artists got hot. Subconscious programming, mind control through the same rotation. It's like it almost forces you to like it, even when you don't like it.
Shit. And that's low key a crime against humanity. To force someone to like something through mind control. Crimes against humanity.
What these record labels do, and this is how, like, back in the day, they actually had to pay disc jockeys and shit, but now they then got smart, and these record labels, part of their budget is to go, like if you remember how we broke down last time, the three main record labels is Universal, Warner Brothers, and Sony. Sony had Mike Jackson, okay. Warner had Prince. UMG have Lil Wayne and Cash Money. Think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And what these three record labels do through their other record labels is they acquire radio stations. They buy them out, so they don't even have to pay these disc jockeys anymore to play the songs. Well, they kind of actually do because they're paying their salary, because they own the place now. But if you have enough money to buy out radio stations and then start a plethora of your own and satellite stations, maybe get some top tier celebrities to do a satellite station like Eminem has Shade 45 and shit with Sway, one of the biggest radio personalities ever. Everybody goes. Sway is like a gatekeeper of the radio. If you go on Sway, you could be you can go from being small time to fucking trending.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And 24.
Hell yeah.
24 acre hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So Sway is a frequency. He could sway you this way or the other. He's like a tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And Eminem and Sway have history because if you remember, Sway knew Marshall back in the day before he was Eminem like that. He knew the nigga back in Detroit. Like they damn near both got their start in the game together.
Man,
so it's like
I think the most cringeworthy shit I seen was, I think this was when he made his return. Like, what was that, like last year? And he was getting Eminem to sign his vinyl, some shit. It was so cringeworthy. He kept dick sucking so damn hard. It was just hard to watch. I'm like, bro.
For real, that's his boss now, technically.
Like, hey, Marshall. Can I please? you begging to suck his dick at this point, bro. You gotta relax. You understand?
For real, relax.
That's what it was, bro. He's like, hey, so I'm sucking your dick. Can I get a raise, please? That's what it looked like.
And come on now, in Eminem, okay, so he is a master of double and triple and quadruple entendres. If you listen to the music, you don't gotta like him. You know this. So what is his alter ego's name? He has many alter egos, but what does everybody know him by? Shady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of those layers is dark energy. One of those layers, the physical, is actually shady, as in he's a shady person. That's two. And shady is like there's a D at the end, so anytime you hear like a shady or 4D, it's referencing a dimension of some sort. Like we hear 40, like Drake has a producer named 40. We all know who
Noah,
40 is.
That's Noah 40. Noah 40. 40 Noah.
The fourth dimension. Because Noah was the portal for Drake to get hot with Wayne and them. And the fourth dimension is the vagina, the womb. It's Jupiter energy, it's expansion.
Right.
But it's also Saturn energy because you are restricted to that space.
Mm-hmm.
You got to grow within that space, the confines of that space, until it's time to expand. So 40 Noah, 40 Shabib, the fourth dimension. So when Pusha T dissed him a while back on when they was having their last battle, he dissed the fourth dimension. He dissed like the Great Mother, technically, or like that type of energy. He's dissing the vagina or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's why he went directly for this nigga. Called out, he's making fun of his MS and shit. All this shit is connected.
Yeah, they out here. They also using Travis Scott as he's like the boule agent that's trying to tell people not to rise up because he made a song "Don't Be God" or "Stop Acting Like You Are God."
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So yeah, Travis Scott straight boule agent all the way, trying to tell niggas not to rise up and shit and not to embody their true power.
Now, okay, this is how the ritual goes. I'm glad you said that. So the ritual goes like this. The reason why Travis Scott made that song is the same reason why Eminem says all the fucked up shit that he does. Why? Touring, and people will recite these lyrics. So if you got all these black people reciting "Stop Trying to Be God" and you're supposed to be rising up to be that, the fuck's gonna happen? you're repeating that. That's an affirmation. That's a mantra. That's the entity or the art. You're gonna create an archon.
Yep,
You see
you
what I'm
create
saying?
your own archon. And then anybody gives it power because everybody taking on that same shit, same energy. So everybody
Exactly.
gets fucked up at the same time.
So that's why I gotta just I'm phasing myself out like of listening to certain artists. It's like at first it's kind of hard because you listen to them for so long. Like I've been listening to Eminem since I was like fucking first grade, like for real, until I figured out who the fuck this nigga is. You know?
I mean, I've completely. I mean, I listen to rap, but I've completely cut off a lot of what I listen to. I listen to mostly old shit, like old school shit. So I don't really listen to rap like that
Yeah.
as much, to be completely honest. I will listen to certain rap, but I'm not going to sit here and listen to all the low frequency bullshit. You know,
Yeah,
that's not for
exactly.
me, to
Like
be
I'll
honest.
sit in here and listen to like mantra meditations, or better yet, like speaking of mantras, if anybody has, everybody has a phone of some sort, probably in this day and age, or can get access to one, and record on your phone a mantra, record your own shit.
Yeah,
And
that's a genius idea, especially some
and
positive
then
shit. Very
and then listen to it, because your voice is the most powerful thing for you when it comes to mantras.
even if you do it over a beat, like do that shit
Yeah,
repetition. It's
yeah,
great.
like you a rapper, so you can make your own tracks like that. You
You
know,
make your own music. Just like they got money songs and meditations on YouTube and all that shit. You can do it yourself.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You just pick whatever beat, figure out how to get the right frequencies in there. From whatever DAW you're using or whatever,
Yeah,
and shit, layer that shit with your affirmations and use that shit for manifestation.
yeah.
100%.
And then you got more celebrities that are coming off of drugs and programming and even just coming into a full awakening. We see Kyrie Irving literally posting up a bunch of ancient Kemetic art and saying he's taking on these deities. And what they're gonna do now? See, the agents are gonna be like, "Oh, Satanism. He's a Satanist," or they're gonna say he's something's mentally wrong with him. He doesn't know. Like that's gonna be the black ball.
Yeah, they gonna say he's mentally ill because they've been already trying to say that the past
They've
couple of
been and
years.
they've been saying it about Kyrie.
Yeah,
So
I
now,
remember seeing that.
so now that he's really showing out. What's gonna happen next? Is he gonna be like another Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, who basically was a player, who was actually a great player, who's like the original Steph Curry before Steph Curry, who was blackballed from the NBA for not standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance because he was Muslim. He gonna be like another? And the funny thing is, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf was also a point guard, but so is Kyrie, and
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie is
Yeah,
on some real deal shit.
they say he on the stage in the court and shit.
He's saging, he's posting up pictures of Osiris and Isis and saying he's on the Ka path and all this shit. Yeah, that's real deal shit right there. I mean, you ain't never seen no shit like that.
Exactly. And the thing is, all these celebrities know about this, or at least okay, not all of them. There's a lot of them that don't, and but there's a lot of them that do because they are privy to whatever information, that they're able to get certain things, certain tapes. That's why a lot of these spiritual teachers are agents because they be teaching these motherfuckers. Like Prince had his spiritual teacher live with him.
Mm-hmm.
He was that serious about his shit.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, and then what the Boule will do is they'll send these teachers out into the world, you know, and now, especially with the YouTube world, you send them out like a young pharaoh or somebody.
A young Pharaoh. What's the chick's name who went full on Christian? I forget.
Pretty boss.
Pretty Boss. Major Boule. I know that bitch is Boule.
Yeah, me and Isabel's going in on her because we had a personal connection. Like her tarot videos was on point, all this and all that, but
They
out of
were on
nowhere,
point too. That's the funny part. Maybe she could have hired someone to do it prior. You never know.
you know what I'm saying? And that is true because sometimes some of her spreads would be like preset, and then she would just read it from preset mode. You know.
Oh yeah, you can. Matter of fact, you can steal. You can go on Twitter and steal content from people. That happens all the time. Like people go on Twitter and steal content from other spiritualists, and they go on YouTube and do regurgitate exactly what was said on Twitter. That happens a lot, actually.
I was behind the scenes with that bitch because I was on her Patreon. That bitch used to be super like weird, super weird. And she supposedly caught COVID, and that fucked her whole thing up.
That was the whole shift right there. Achille Gibson in my comments mentioned NLE Chopper, who is one of the younger artists who moved on to the more spiritual path as well.
Mm-hmm. And I heard of NLE Chopper, and I was like, okay, he's either for real, or these record labels are trying to get a handle on this shit now, and they put in a people out to put, to get on top of it so they can control the wave.
Shit.
As always.
Shit, if that was the case, his music would never been positive. Like shit, his new music is straight frequencies. The whole frequency is positive, so it definitely ain't got shit to do with the music industry in that regard.
That's good then. That's good.
Cause good and damn well they don't want that shit out there. You ain't finna be raising no heart frequencies and the heart chakras up. They don't want that shit. They don't want no heart chakra music. Period.
That makes more sense.
Right.
I didn't know. Some you always got to ask questions. These
I do my research before I even say, because you never know who's on bullshit. So you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? So I just make sure I do your background check real quick, see what the hell going on.
100.
Hell yeah.
And I sent you that wrestling match with Zeus. Randy Savage was his partner. That's weird.
Right.
And
Randy Savage.
Hulk Hogan. Now, if you've seen how him and Hulk Hogan was going at it, like they had Hulk Hogan like super powered up, and we all know that the Hulk represents the melanin, the melanin being, which is why Hulk Hogan was always super duper tan. Because if you've seen him before, he was really light, really pale.
Right.
He's always super duper tan, and he was just like barely hitting Zeus, and he was like Zeus over there staggering and shit, and then he falls. So they was telling us in 1989 that Zeus was gonna fall and taking over.
So they told us
that they're going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Straight up sacrifice. Vince McMahon has a very big role in all of this, a lot bigger than we thought.
Oh yeah.
A lot bigger.
Owning a big corporation or just company like that in general, and with all the shit that's going on in it, come on now. Why the hell else would Undertaker through 1998 to 2000 look like goddamn Anton LaVey, the goddamn creator of the Church of Satan?
Exactly. And they call him the Dead Man.
That was in that time. He was taking on Death Angel, like that in that period. Like he was literally looking like a whole Satanist.
Like the Undertaker was a gatekeeper in WWE, so he's obviously a gatekeeper in that world because he's like like WWE. So here's what they like to do with their characters. They like to. We also know like everywhere else give them symbolic roles, but they like to mix mythologies into one character, or mix different gods into one being, different spirits into one being. Like Undertaker represents Osiris, but he also represents Anubis.
Yeah, definitely Anubis energy.
But think about him and Cain and Abel, because remember the story of Cain and the Undertaker, how Cain was supposedly burned in a fire. One brother killed the other. You see what I'm saying? Yep. But they mix Christianity with Egypt mythology, with Greek mythology. They got all going on. They got, they got like they got their own witch crew up in that motherfucker. Like, this is what you need to do. You see what I'm saying? They mixing paths.
And you also talked about the brood, who are the archons, of course. Of course, we know that.
Yeah,
You know, if you
exactly.
remember that. Yeah,
You know, because the archons are in that situation.
That was blatant. That was blatant. Very blatant. It's funny because they always see when it came to Take, it was like the first wrestler to come in the dark, like the first ever, like the first idea, you know. So you got the dead man, and then you got the rest. Then you get Kane. Then you get the Brood, who also comes in the dark. That's probably like the third act in the dark now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And I remember being scared of that shit as a kid. Like, the Brood would come out. Gangrel actually has real life fangs.
Yeah,
That
he
he had
does.
made by the dentist. And I'm thinking, with these motherfuckers harvesting adrenochrome and shit, that was probably real blood.
It could have been. That's some expensive ass shit though. To be honest, like if you're getting that, you gotta be like an elite motherfucker. Like you either in Hollywood or you just an elite motherfucker. Period.
Well,
You know
you
what I'm
know,
saying?
Vince McMahon at the time, he was making like $600 million a year.
Oh yeah. Well, of course. I don't know. Well, I don't know what Vince was doing, but what I can say is he was definitely on some, some fuck shit, regardless of the fact. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Just the symbolism behind the Brood, you know, fucking art. So they're gonna show off the archons. So basically, if this is coming from the writers and Vince's mind, it's it's his subconscious mind showing us who he is and his family. You know, I don't know if you remember the great giant Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like him, the Big Show, and also Kane and the Undertaker, they also all represent Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the children of the fallen angels. When the fallen angels mixed with the daughters of the earth, the
Mm-hmm.
daughters of men, you know, there came giants.
Right.
And shit. So, originally in WCW, Big Show's name was the Giant.
Mm-hmm. It was.
You see what I'm saying? And
That
if we
was
go
his
back to
original
WCW,
name.
yeah. And then he went to Paul White, and then he went to the Big Show. But WCW had their fair share of the fuckery going on at the same time.
Oh hell yeah, definitely.
Because they had some of the same characters. They
Oh
was on
hell
some dumb
yeah.
shit.
They had the same. It was the same shit with WCW. It was just in different. They had their own version. Like NWO was just
Yeah,
DX. It's
yeah,
pretty much.
exactly.
It's pretty much DX, and Sting is the dead man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's the same shit. They just revamped them. You know, the same shit revamped
100%.
pretty much. To be
Like,
honest.
I wonder why. Like, they brought back all these WCW legends into the newer WWE, but you know, and Sting even came back. He had a match at WrestleMania 2014, but he said he tried to get a match with the Undertaker, and Vince McMahon shut his ass down. Now,
Yeah, see, everybody wanted to see that even back then. That was a dream
yeah,
match for everyone. They wanted to see Taker versus Sting. You know what I'm saying?
you know how much money that would have brought in. So if Vince is all about his money,
Bro,
he's all
Taker and
about his
Sting would have
money.
brought in a lot of money.
So it must have been a reason why he said, "No, we're not doing this."
It's an interesting point. I mean, why would he do that? You know why? Well, it could have been because of Hunter. It could have been because he didn't want certain star people to get outshined. Because if Sting was there, he would outshine a lot of people. So
Yeah,
it might not even been Vince. It could have been the people that also had power in the locker room who said, "Oh hell no," because ego, come on, ego. You don't
yeah.
let fucking Sting just come out nowhere and fight Taker because if you get Sting and Taker, that's gonna have to be main event of the night. Like fuck the championship match. We got Sting and Taker.
And people must have got to the Undertaker because I just watched a video of it was an interview that that guy Hannibal does, the guy that does the wrestling interviews. And he was interviewing, I forgot who was interviewing, but he said the Undertaker is the most made man in the business. He can do whatever he wants. So I'm pretty sure Sting brought it to Vince and the Undertaker. Undertaker could have just said yeah, and then Vince would have just went with it. You know, so it must have been like John Cena or somebody, because John Cena a bitch.
I mean, I think the perfect time to have that match would have been. It probably would have been definitely not during the time he was ABA Undertaker, but when he
Yeah.
was Dead Man Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, a perfect time for that match to happen would have probably been 04, 03, maybe. Just randomly.
Oh yeah, the American Badass.
Nah, not even, 03. I mean 04, 04, 05 maybe. Would have been a
Yeah,
better
04,
time.
yeah, 05. Like when he was going, yeah, that's when he brought back the Dead Man, and he was
Yeah.
going up against Randy Orton and shit.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect time. Yeah, because ABA wouldn't have been a good fit. We gotta have the same. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the same. You have to have that same original character. But like I
Exactly.
said, even having Sting and Taker is that's gonna be like that's main event. Like, that shit is gonna be the main event. Like I said, fuck the championship match. You got Sting
Exactly.
and Undertaker. Do you know who
That's the
Sting?
last
Sting is
match
a
of the night.
living legend. That's
Come on
Sting.
now.
And some people don't realize how legendary Sting is in that. I was like, bro, Sting is with Ric Flair and them, bro. He's in the
Yeah,
same category as them.
he goes like everybody just thinks that he was there in the last 4 or 5 years of
Oh, hell no. Sting been around.
WCW. Sting was there when WCW was NWA.
He been around. He was there since the 80s. He's a
Yeah,
legend.
Dusty Rhodes and them. Well, he was there with the Four Horsemen and all that shit.
Now you gotta put
Back when
respect on Sting's name. Period.
he had the yellow face paint, and Stone Cold Steve Austin too. He was there back in late '80s, early '90s, WCW, NWA. Then he
Sonny
headed over
Steve
to Raw.
Austin. See, you know what? Austin might have lasted longer had he not got fucked up. You know?
Yeah, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. As you can see, he's kind of hillbilly redneck. Like you said, it's supposed to be a racist character.
Yeah, he literally was made to be a racist character.
But he represents the calcified pineal gland. That's why they call him Stone Cold. And his opposite, his rival, is the open pineal gland. Pretty much you can guess who that is.
Right.
I mean,
right.
do we have to say his name? Finally,
You're right.
The Rock, because the Rock is the Philosopher's Stone pineal gland.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why they always used to go at it. But to reference this to Universe A and Universe B, these are the type of people that are getting left in A. So they're trying to either trap us here, or we are technically, since we've been holding the frequency. Technically, me and you and others already there. We like the first niggas there, and the new universe is just a new wave of consciousness. That's all it is. Just a higher level of consciousness. That's what dimensions are. Just new ways to think. New ways to interpret your current reality. So it's like you quantum tunnel into the womb. So basically, like 2020 was 2020 so far was like the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is time and space, because if you look at coronavirus has everybody inside. So once you get inside, some people like myself, I was working at the school district when Corona first hit, and we had to work from home. So that means I have a lot more time to study, a lot more time to read, to be with my own self. So that is my expansion. Okay. And I'm restricted because COVID had so many fucking restrictions. Can't go here. Like when it first started, like we couldn't, like Walmart was like closing at like 7 p.m. But it was usually 24 hours and shit. We couldn't have certain gatherings. We still have certain restrictions. You see what I'm saying? So that's that Saturn energy, and Jupiter is that expansive energy, getting into the studying and different things and becoming the best you can be. So essentially, you're in the womb. 2020 wasn't really bad. If you used it right, it was a womb. to get you to prepared for the next level of consciousness, which is the fifth dimension. I'm pretty sure we got there because just the things that we did, holding the frequency, going live, informing people, and working on ourselves and keeping our frequency high. We helped maintain the collective consciousness frequency at a high level. We being a Titan myself, we some of the first niggas over here, so that means we get to set the rules.
Right.
It's all about the game and how you play it.
Right. Yeah, Kelly asked, how do I get more in tune as far as knowing about my chakras? Knowing about chakras that's just basically just knowing your energy, meditation, etc. Knowing your chakras is studying and knowing it, period.
Yeah.
You gotta know where your root, your crown, heart chakra, etc. You gotta know all it is. And you gotta know how to maneuver the energy. Pretty much. So just study. So you just really gotta study. It ain't nothing hard. Just study it.
Yeah. And when you get to a certain level of studying, and your left brain is kind of being soothed, then you can go and kind of merge the two, the left and the right brain, by trying to, ask your higher self, ask yourself about your chakras, because your higher self has been here a long fucking time.
Right.
It's got some knowledge. Go into meditation with the intention of learning more about these things. It's like when we go into meditation, we just go and we're open and receptive to things, so we might get random downloads. But when we go into meditation in the beginning with an intention, and then we just let it go, and we just meditate like normal, we'll come out with that knowledge that we wanted to come out with, and hopefully, and if not, then you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it till you get what you desire. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward when it comes to that, especially as a beginner, that shit's straightforward. But there's definitely much higher levels and layers to this shit. I tell you that. There's no end point in this. So there's a lot of people that act like there's some end point to some stupid shit, but that's not true. There's no end point.
And like when you see motherfuckers, I'm glad you brought that up. When you say, "Oh, the end of the world," they're saying 2012 was the end of the world because the end of the Mayan calendar. Basically, what they mean is all code. It's all code for the end of one cycle and another cycle begins. So it's not really the end or beginning of anything. It's just a new way of perception.
Exactly.
And reality is moving in, is a better way to put it. So you go, it's just change, So the world is, they aren't going to have like rockets coming down and blasting and everybody out there dying and shit. It's just a higher frequency coming in, a shift that is so major that it will alter the reality as you know it, even if you aren't awake to these things. Coronavirus did that for motherfuckers. A lot of people ain't awake, but coronavirus shifted their whole life around.
Well, they went to a fear-based state, which destroyed melanin. So you going into fear is actually destroying your upgrades too at the same time. So you choosing to fall back at that point if you scared. You fucking the whole thing up. You fucking up the whole process. Then you got a lot of people talking. And you got a lot of people talking about, teachers talking about it's time to go, this shit is over, da 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 da. Bullshit. I'm gonna tell you what's over is the previous paradigm. That shit is over. All this other old shit, that shit is over. So somebody telling you this shit is over, all that's over is a paradigm. You still got, if you still alive, this means you still serving a purpose and you got shit to do here. That's what it's about.
Bobby would say that a lot in his lectures. This shit is over with, but what he meant is we not ruling as kings and shit again, until we do, until we do again, until we get back on our rightful throne, whenever that will be. But until then, this is what we doing. Until then, this is what the fuck we doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, like when a lot of people they'll watch his lectures. I'm about to do a little mini lecture on the Holy Trinity and Melanin, the three forms, because I got a ton of research on that that I'm gonna drop. But he's normally referencing neuromelanin, and you know when he's referencing melanin, because he's always talking about the pineal gland and stuff, and the melanin of the pineal gland is neuromelanin. It's the melanin of the central nervous system. You know, in all of our nervous system, period. But everybody seems to think he's talking about this right here. This melanin right here is eumelanin, EU, and then melanin, which is what eumelanin does is it receives. Okay, so it receives light and information, which is why we can stand in the sun and not burn, because we are receiving. Why white people burn generally, you know, just on a general scale, is because phenomelanated, which that's, you know, white, red, pink, you know, the lighter tinges, yellow or light yellow, is phenomelanin, it bounces off. So they send messages out. We receive the messages, and we can, and because we have this right here as well, we can bounce messages off, and then we can, like a projector, project that light. That's really why teachers, you know, a lot of these quote unquote master teachers, that's what they really know about us. So that's why they paint us as superior. No, we just have, as Isabel says, we have a higher responsibility to the younger races on Earth. That's just in a nutshell. We possess all three forms: the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, or the Mother, the Father, the Son, or the daughter.
The conscious,
you know,
the subconscious, and the unconscious mind.
Exactly. We possess all three. White people were born with two, but a lot of our master teachers, a lot of teachers, they misinform you, because they talk about white people as they don't have no melanin and they not shit, but they got 2 out of 3, don't they? That means
everybody has melanin.
Yeah.
If you ain't got melanin, then how you here? Because the whole thing is melanin. Everything is melanin.
Exactly.
So how the hell you ain't got it?
Exactly. They got neuromelanin and they are phenomelanated, you know, in their physical form. You know, I broke this shit down in so many different ways, but everybody else, they just want to feel superior because of how society has, you know, painted us as inferior for so long. You hear some shit like this, now it's like telling a feminist about the Great Mother and shit, and about
the women's role. And that's what else Bobby mentioned, talked about stop giving information to virgin minds who have no knowledge of this shit.
Because what would a feminist do with the knowledge of women down here? They would probably fucking, you think they're bad? You think they aim at men now? They would think that they don't need us and we not shit, and it would be worse.
This is why I tell men all the time, in this shit, the worst shit you can be is a fucking simp. You can't. Not in this shit. You wanna fall off? Fuck one of these dumbass bitches, and I'm saying it right now.
You say I'm saying?
I'm telling you. You better stay in your ground. I'm telling you this right now. These bitches can't save you. Because you don't know who you fucking with. There's all types of malicious motherfuckers in this shit who just feed off you. And you have no idea. You think the whole fucking kente cloth and all that bullshit, you think that shit is cool and all, but guess what? You don't know their intention. They'll have you all trapped off. We seeing it happen right now.
Like, there's this one chick, like, I really want to fuck with her, but then again, I won't, just because it's all a match until you get to this shit. It's like, her and her whole family they fucking Christian, man.
Oh yeah, I'll stay away from that. Yeah. That's
Like,
bad. That's bad news.
It's like a perfect match. Like, you know, it's like, I feel like in her next lifetime, she'll probably be over here just because she's into the holistic and naturopathic health and certain things. She's like, her toes getting wet, but the bitch still Christian. She's still talking about on Easter, he is risen. Like, fuck.
Oh,
Like,
fuck. Look that shit. Yeah. Look, stop. Pay attention to detail.
You know,
That's it.
then there's this other chick. She's like newer into this shit. She's a more like on the witchy path. She's new, out to high school, and she cool. So it's like, you know, you know how you always got multiple options, and then it's like, so like you got like three, and then two of them don't work out just because of certain things. Like this other chick is a hardcore feminist, voted for her ass, voted for Biden, and she voted for Biden.
We don't do
It's
feminists. Yeah, we don't fuck with feminists here. There's only one person that gets a pass with it, but she doesn't know any better. And if she sees this video, she knows who the fuck she is. Then that's it. But we don't do that bullshit over here. That shit is bullshit.
I did a video on that shit in Alyssa Milano, and it's on my channel. I'm gonna have to.
I'm surprised it didn't get taken down.
I went in on the ass, the CIA, and all that. Like the feminist movement, the Me Too. It was about the Me Too movement, and the Me Too movement was started by a black woman in 2006, and it was for like female, women who had been raped, and they're supposed to come together like a group and talk about, however, that type of thing. Somehow Hollywood gets a hold of it 8 years later.
They hijack everything. Everything hijacked. No originality whatsoever. We just steal movements and kill the people who created the movements. That's what we do. Yeah, that's what they do.
That's exactly what they did. I looked it up. I'm like, damn.
Bro, look how
the Me Too.
Look how they lied about BLM. Like Darren Seals ain't make that shit, and they smoked his ass and smoked his brother. As a result, they steal everything, and they lie and say that it was. They lied and said it was some lesbians who made. No, that's fucking bullshit. I seen the motherfucker when he made it.
Shit's crazy.
Yeah.
That nigga D-Ray. That nigga D-Ray lives
He's
in a
an
house.
Agent. Big agent.
Funded by George Soros, his company.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are getting paid off that money from Soros. That's still left over.
Yeah. And that nigga D-Ray is one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, or one of the leaders of it, at least.
Yeah, he's research on him. He's a ginormous agent. He probably makes six figures just doing the bullshit that he does.
And these are all archons that aren't making it into the higher frequencies. You see what I'm saying? It's like, for anybody who's, just jumping on or whatever, it's like things you can do to get yourself or keep yourself on a higher frequency. You got to think like hermetically. If you ever read the Kabbalion, they tell you there's the physical plane, this right here, the mental plane, pineal gland, the mental, and the spiritual plane, the astral plane, your spirit and your soul. You do things according to those three planes, and you will be straight. Like physical, like I got my elixirs, I got my colloidal gold, silver, platinum, all that shit. That shit will keep me tapped in completely, physically and mentally, and also spiritually. So that's one thing that covers all three realms. Drink your fucking water, because your melanin is activated by water. You see what I'm saying? And so what they do is they dry us out with all this food, with all the fast food and shit. That's why a fucking box of macaroni and cheese is 99 cents. You see what I'm saying? And vegetables, a bag of carrots is like $4.
They gonna give you the worst shit for the cheap and the best shit for the most expensive. All the time.
Now, for somebody who's in that place where that's what they can afford, is a cheaper shit. Like, here's one thing that I do, and me and Isabel do it. She put me onto it, and then I kind of ran with it, like hardcore. So if you eating some shit, you eating anything, it could be vegetables, because vegetables have spirits. You see what I'm saying? Because they're living things. They grow. Anything that's a living thing, or once was a living thing, has had a spirit. So all these things will pit like they talk about the meat industry, like if how these cows and pigs are being tortured, and they got all kinds of diseases. So what happens is you take on that vibration. That's just if you eat that shit right away. And the same thing for the vegetables, for all the vegans, you got motherfucking immigrants working in that shit doing 15, 16 hours a day in the field. They throwing up on the vegetables. They out here, who knows what's going through their mind,
If people
these
are
fields.
eating without reprogramming the food that they're eating, not knowing who was cooking it, what the intent
Exactly.
was, for the secretion of the food and etc. So nobody's
Basically,
powering up the food.
what I do is I say, I do this right here. I get my hands going to you, can kind of feel the Reiki going, and over my food and my drink, all souls and spirits trapped in this food, I release you. I do it 3 times ritualistically because now I'm releasing all souls and spirits that are
Right.
trapped in this food, and now the food won't hurt you on that level. Program it to the level that you want to program it to. You see what I'm saying? And with a lot of people, it's a little bit harder because we're programmed with, okay, this is the bad food, this is the good food. So if you're constantly eating bad food, even though you're clearing it, and you're still putting on weight or whatever, you just need to soothe your ego. So maybe just go work out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to do things to soothe your ego. Once you soothe the ego, it'll be easier to.
Listen, I tell you this. I eat damn near fried chicken and fries damn near all the time. I'm doing pretty good. But I mean, me, I just make sure that I goddamn program the food. Like the way I program food is I pretend I'm eating what I want in life. That's how I consume my food. I say, well, let's replace the current energy that's here with shit that I actually need in life. Some essential shit. Consume what it is that you want. Since they want to say you are what you eat, well, I am abundance, so I'm eating that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. See? There you go. See, learn something new. That's that type of shit. Well, just the way you can program your water, you can program your food, anything, yeah. Because you're creating entities to go live inside of that food. Once you're speaking to it, you create an entity to go live inside of that water. You see what I'm saying? So even if you got bottled water and it may not be the best bottled water, you can program the shit. You just have to soothe the ego to the point where you know or you at least believe, so that the magic or the ritual can do its thing.
Right.
And that's what this whole universe A, universe B is about. They're for us to get in that realm of doing our magic so that we can get where we're supposed to get. Like they're talking about, oh my God, superpowers and shit. You've been had your superpowers. That was just a day. And once you had the most, you could harness the most energy coming into a new age, the age of Aquarius, to, coming into the dawn, using the energy of the dawn or the sun of a new time. So now we have a new sun to unlock that DNA. Instead of using, 90, this level, you can now use this level of energy, without basically you would have to do so much work on another time, so much work to be able to do what you could have on that day, basically.
Oh yeah.
So I'll say at least hopefully you at least meditated for a few minutes.
Yeah, there's still people that have to learn how to, because they don't even know what meditation truly is. So they still gotta learn the basics of how to even stay in a visualization, because they get thrown off so often because their mind's cluttered. They thinking about a whole bunch of other shit. And it don't take much to solve that either. To solve that don't take too much, honestly. It don't take too much to solve that.
And that's real, because you can slip into a meditation anytime. Like the time where I meditate the most is when I'm in the shower, because that's where I'm just fully tapped in. I'm fully tapped in. I'm zoning. That's where I get a lot of channels, a lot of downloads. but I'm in the shower. So sometimes I take longer showers. I'm like, damn, I was already clean. I could have, but I was in there motherfucking meditating, damn near, on the astral projection and shit and everything.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it's basically like, you know, meditation is just anytime you can slip into the zone.
Yeah, that's the true zone right there. The true flow and the true zone is that, 100%. Literally, it's not anything that's super hard to do. You make shit hard on yourself.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You make shit hard on yourself because you thinking that it's so much more than it actually is. It's not. It ain't. Everyone is capable of doing that. You know, anyone's capable of doing that.
Exactly. Like, you know, just you just gotta work on yourself. You know, you gotta be consistent with the things that are gonna take us where we want to be. Because I believe it's not that people aren't consistent. Because I used to think that, oh, I'm not consistent. That's where I'm not where I want to be. No, at that particular time, I wasn't consistent with the certain things that were gonna, you know, catapult me. And then fucking coronavirus happened, and next thing I know, I'm ordering all these books, watching hella lectures again. You know, I'm on my grind because now I went from, you know, every day my routine was, you know, my mom would take my dad to work, then me and my mom, because we work in the same district, so we would just carpool. You know, we go to work, and then we would from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. You know, we were out the house, we were gone. We get home around 7 something, eat, and then I didn't really have that much time to do what I needed to do, but I still found time. You know, I would come in, meditate first. Like January, February, I got into a rut of like really, really meditating every day, but that's how it would be. And then coronavirus, nigga, we in the crib, I ain't got to go nowhere. And so I started to not like go anywhere, to where like if I would go outside, I would feel like I'm in a foreign land, you know? So I just had to get, you know, consistent with, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to go outside more. I need to read more. I need to do this, do that, do things that are going to propel me. And then as the months went on, you know, we start going through more shifts, you know. The fucking election happened and this shit happened. Now we in a whole different time zone, and we might be speaking a foreign language to some people because they still over here.
Exactly what's going on right now. Motherfuckers be telling me they don't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, I said something that was pretty simple, and I'm expecting you to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you don't get it, man, you may have to catch up.
For real. And it's not that people can't get here. It's not that. So it's not that they're not worthy and we're better than them. It's just we did the work to get here. So we deserve to get here first. That's A. Point B, if you ain't here yet, then you need to know that you can get here by raising your frequency. You know, so
But you
that's
have
for
to
people
actually
who
want to do it, not just say it.
exactly. But there are most people who already believe, like, you know, the masses. The reason why the masses are dumbed down and bogged down isn't always because of the system keeping them stupid in mind controls, because they think they know everything already.
That's the problem. There is not, again, knowledge is infinite, literally. So
For real.
don't limit yourself because you think you know it all, because you don't.
You act like
And
they
you
know it
never
all
will,
already.
honestly.
Ain't no way. It's like, say you research, it's like, that's why they say the more you know, the more you don't. It's because the more I research shit, the more topics I find that I didn't know. Like one topic could lead you to 10 topics that you had no idea about. And you're like, fuck, but I spent like 8 hours on one topic in one day. And I could easily spend twice as many, 16 hours on each other of these topics, every day. It's like, fuck. So just try to know what you can know and use that to your ability, really. ain't no way you can learn all this shit. It's like, but at the same time, our vessels, our souls, and our spirits contain all infinite wisdom at the same fucking time.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's just what it is. But
we live in a paradox, an infinite paradox.
Yeah. But yeah, this is our live, man. I mean, I know a lot of people are gonna see this because I shared it in a lot of places, but you know how the views go in and out and shit and do weird shit. So, you know, I'm sure a lot more people seeing this than we think, and will see this anyway.
Exactly.
But with me, you could get spiritual consultations, spiritual outlines, decodings of any kinds, guided meditations, etc. Just message me. I will have a site soon to help those in need. If you need me, just DM me, message me. You can tell them all your services.
So my Etsy shop is Alchemy of Life Co. on Etsy. I'm gonna type it up in this moment.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can type that.
Yeah, so it should just pop up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. So there's my Etsy shop right there. Also, I'm working on a new thing for the goddess consultation. So basically, any type of issues you got, problems if you need some work done, some spell work or something. It's just a consultation if you got shit in your life going on, and that kind of came to me. It was a channel to do that because I have a lot of female friends. A lot, like within the past 2 years, I've gained a bunch, and they always come to me for some reason for help. And I'm always like, you know what, I'll do it. And they always get great results. So that's a service I'll be offering. So, we talk depending on what it is. If I can't personally do it, then I have so many other different people I know that have, their resources that I can, help you find. So if I can't solve the issue for you, then I can help you find resources and tools to help you, and the reason why I'm doing goddess consultations as well is because as a man, men, we are here to learn about the goddess. And the goddess is here to learn about the man. So that brings upon balance, between each other. They learn about the divine masculine within them and outside of them, and we learn about the divine feminine inside of us. And, inside of us and outside of us. So, that's kind of why I do that.
Yeah, man. But shout out to everybody who tuned into the live. Catch the replay. We did go in, talk that shit. There definitely some very useful information. But shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all again tomorrow. I got a video dropping tomorrow. I'm gonna be talking about altars and shit like that, so people get familiar with that. So I'll be going into detail with that tomorrow. So y'all have a good night. Y'all enjoy.
Peace.
Peace.